There are two kinds of quiet daughters in every house. The ones who are quiet because they obey, and the ones who are quiet because they are watching. Most mothers cannot tell the difference. Not until the morning comes when a folder slides across the kitchen table, and their daughter looks up, and they understand, too late, exactly which one they raised. My name is Eva Mercer. I had just turned 18 years old. By 9 the next morning, my mother was sliding a folder across our kitchen table like it was just part of breakfast. She was smiling. She said, "Sweetheart, we need to talk about Grandpa's money." My blood ran cold. She had no idea I already knew everything, and she had no idea that at midnight, just 9 hours earlier, I had already moved every single dollar of that inheritance somewhere she could never touch. Before I take you into that kitchen, please subscribe and drop your city and local time in the comments. I read every single one. Now let me take you back to where this all began. 6 months before that morning, I was cleaning my bedroom on a gray Tuesday afternoon. The kind of October day where the sky never fully brightens, and the house feels smaller than usual. On my shelf sat a small tin box. My grandpa had given it to me on my 17th birthday, the last gift he handed me in person. I had not opened it in months. The lid was stiff. Inside, a dried autumn leaf from his garden, a photo of him and my grandma at their anniversary dinner, and a sealed white envelope. On the front, in his careful handwriting, "Open this only if something feels wrong with your mother before your birthday. Call Thomas Reeves immediately." I sat down on the edge of my bed. I did not open it. Not yet. I just held it. I turned it over. I stared at his handwriting until my eyes blurred. Grandpa had been dead for almost 2 years, and he had known. He had known enough to hide a warning inside a tin box and pray that I would find it in time. Downstairs, I could hear the slow, careful sound of papers being moved. My mother's voice, low and quick. My stepfather's voice, lower. I could not make out the words. I did not need to. I put the envelope back. I closed the box. I went down and poured myself a glass of water and said nothing about the kitchen light being on at 11 at night when my mother was supposed to be asleep. That envelope was the first time someone had ever handed me a weapon. I just did not recognize it yet. My dad died when I was 9 years old. His name was Daniel Mercer. He was a delivery driver. One morning in winter, he did not come home. There was ice on the road and a lorry that did not stop in time. A police officer came to our door with his hat in his hands. My mother cried for exactly 1 week. Then she started talking about new curtains for the living room. She remarried when I was 12. His name was Carl Dunning. He was a property developer with a loud voice and a large watch. He had a daughter from his first marriage named Jade, 1 year younger than me, who moved into the bedroom across the hallway. I learned 3 things about my mother very quickly after Carl arrived. 1, she punished sadness. If I cried, she called it drama. She would sigh. She would say, "Eva, not now." 2, she punished happiness. If I laughed too loudly, she narrowed her eyes. She would say, "Eva," inside voice. The only safe way to exist around her was flat. So I went flat. By the time I was 12, I had stopped showing my feelings in front of her. I saved them for my grandparents' house, for Grandpa Walter's vegetable garden and my Grandma Ruth's kitchen, where I was allowed to simply be a person. My mother thought quiet meant obedient. It did not. Quiet meant I was watching. Quiet meant I was remembering everything. I called it not giving her a weapon. 8 years later, she would slide a folder across a breakfast table and find out exactly how much I had been paying attention. But I am getting ahead of myself. Grandma Ruth passed away when I was 13. Cancer. She fought hard. The second time, it fought back harder. She held my hand the afternoon she died and said, "You are a good girl, Eva. Do not let anyone tell you differently." I did not cry in the hospital. I cried in Grandpa's car in the car park. He did not shush me or tell me to calm down. He just said, "Let it out, love. Let it all out." Grandpa Walter held on for 2 more years. He became quieter. Not sadder, just quieter, like a house at the end of an autumn afternoon. The summer I was 16, I spent 2 months at his house. I read to him in the evenings. I watered the tomatoes. I made his eggs the way he liked them. Hard yolk, plenty of butter, a little salt. He died in September, 77 years old. Heart. At the reading of the will, there was a trust, my name on it, a number that made Carl's jaw go loose. Just over $650,000. Shares, some savings, and the proceeds from a small piece of land Grandpa had sold years before. The terms were simple. The money belonged to me. I could not touch the main amount until my 18th birthday. On that day, full ownership transferred. The trustee named on the paperwork was Thomas Reeves, a solicitor I had never heard of. Grandpa's handwritten note inside the folder said 6 words. "Your life, your choice. Love, Grandpa." My mother read those 6 words with an expression on her face I will never forget. Not sad, not proud. Calculating. Grandpa had left me a door. My mother had already started looking for a locksmith. 6 months before my birthday, a man in a gray suit started coming to our house. Tuesday evenings, 4:30, same silver car every time. The badge on his briefcase said Weston Private Wealth Planning. He stayed about an hour each visit. He always left with papers tucked under his arm. My mother said he was an insurance advisor, then a financial planner, then a friend of Carl's. The story changed every single week. His briefcase never did. One afternoon in January, I came home early from school. A snowstorm was coming, and my last class had been canceled. I pushed through the back door and stopped. I could hear my mother's voice from the kitchen. She said, "Once she signs it, the rest is just paperwork." Carl said, "And if she hesitates?" My mother laughed, short and dry. "Eva, she will sign. She always does what she is told." I stood in the hallway with my coat still on and my pulse loud in my ears. Then I opened the back door loudly. I called out, "Mom, I am home early." I heard papers moving fast. When I walked into the kitchen, the table was clear. My mother was at the kettle smiling. She said, "Early day? Want some hot chocolate?" On the counter under her bag, the corner of a folder was sticking out. Embossed letterhead. Weston Private Wealth Planning. Jade walked in behind me. She said, "Is that about Eva's money?" My mother's smile did not move. Carl said, "Jade, go upstairs." Jade went upstairs. My mother handed me a mug and said, "You are such a good girl, Eva." I said, "Thanks, Mom." I went up to my room. That was the moment I stopped being the daughter who did not know. I just did not tell anyone I had crossed over. Before I tell you what I found in that envelope, if someone in your family has ever asked you to sign something you did not fully understand, drop the word "seen" in the comments. I want to know how many of us there are. And please subscribe if you haven't already. What comes next changes everything. I opened the envelope the following Friday. I walked to the park near our house with it tucked inside my coat. The swings were empty. The sky was the color of wet concrete. I sat on a cold bench and opened the seal. 1 page, Grandpa's handwriting. It said, "Eva, if you are reading this, something has gone wrong with your mother. I have suspected it for a long time. I never wanted to say anything that would hurt you, but I could not leave without giving you a door to open. Thomas Reeves has been my solicitor for 28 years. He knows everything. He is waiting for your call. You have every right to protect yourself. You have every right to choose. I believe you will choose well. All my love, Grandpa. Below the letter, a phone number. My hands were cold. My eyes were dry. I took out my phone and dialed. A woman answered. I said, "My name is Eva Mercer. My grandfather was Walter Mercer. He told me to call Mr. Reeves." She went quiet for half a second. Then she said, "Hold on, love." A click. Then a calm, warm voice. "Eva, this is Thomas Reeves. I have been expecting your call. Your grandfather and I spoke about this possibility many times. Can you come to my office next week? Tell your mother it is a college information meeting." "Yes," I said. He said, "Good. And Eva, do not change a single thing at home. Not your face, not your routine, not one word." For the first time in a long time, someone believed I was capable of handling the truth. His office was on the second floor of a brick building in town. A green desk lamp, shelves of legal books, a small plant that clearly needed more water. He stood up the moment I walked in. Mid-60s, white hair, a steady and unhurried way of speaking. He walked me through everything using plain words. He wrote the legal terms down on a notepad so I could follow along. He told me that at midnight on my 18th birthday, the inheritance my grandfather had left me would legally become mine. I had 3 options: keep the existing trust structure, dissolve it, or move everything into a new trust that I designed myself. I said, "What do you recommend?" He said, "A new irrevocable trust, a professional corporate trustee with a clean long-term record, you as the sole beneficiary, your mother, Carl Dunning, and Jay Dunning permanently excluded. Distributions approved for education, housing, and living costs, and an irrevocable clause, meaning once you sign, not even you can undo it. Not even on a hard day 5 years from now when your mother cries the right way." I said, "That is exactly the point, isn't it?" He nodded. Then he said, "Before we go further, I need to show you something about what your mother has been planning." He opened a folder and slid it halfway across the desk. I could read the top line upside down. Mercer Family Financial Consolidation Agreement. My full legal name in the header, Eva Louise Mercer. He said a former assistant at the Weston firm had raised serious concerns about the document and had passed a copy to his office through the proper legal channel. He said, "The document would make your mother a co-trustee of your inheritance. It would give her lasting power of attorney over your assets, and it would redirect a large portion of your money into a company called Dunning Mercer Holdings Limited, in which Carl Dunning is the sole director." I stared at the page. My hands were completely steady. That surprised me. I said, "How long has this been going on?" He said, "At least 5 months. 5 months and 4 versions of this document." 5 months. 5 months of her asking about my day and making my favorite dinners and patting my hand. I said, "Let's build something she cannot touch." We named the new trust the Ruth Trust, after my grandmother. We set the signing for midnight on my 18th birthday. Notary ready, trustee ready. Thomas would call at 9 the next morning. The Sunday before my birthday, my mother made a big roast dinner. Candles on the table. Carl poured wine. Jade put her phone away. Over dessert, I asked a casual question. I said, "Mom, what is the difference between a trust and a family account? Someone at school was asking about it." She lit up like a lamp. She said, "Oh, trusts are so complicated, sweetheart. They can go wrong very easily if they are not managed by family who actually love you. Fees, delays, strangers making decisions about your money." Carl nodded. Family money should stay in family hands, not with some corporate trustee who does not even know your name.